Hello, and welcome back to my channel. This is Reality with Diva D. How are you doing? In honor of Mother Wendy. Child, I was minding my own business, as I usually do. And I was over there, and Mel was talking about Rasheed Gray. So I had saw on the news that Rasheed was in some trouble. And I was like, oh no, not Hakeem, Lord. What is going on with Hakeem? Now, Mims is always taking these deep dives and never revealed his sources, but I will give him a shout out because this is where I got most of my information from, and I mean the deep dive part. The rest of it, I saw on my own personal self. I saw it on Google that Bashir was in trouble again. Then we're gonna talk a little bit about what's going on. Some little bit of election news. Not much, because I know y'all don't want to hear that as entertainment gossip. Okay. And then we're gonna talk about that good Simone Biles. Oh, the people are upset because she wasn't at the opening ceremony. That lady minded her own business. But can she mind her own business? Everything that young lady do, she criticized for. Now, I can't help it if I had to criticize her for letting that husband of hers say that he was more famous than she was. But I ain't one of the gospel, so y'all didn't hear that from me. Now, mind you, everything that I'm about to say is for entertainment purposes only. So, I'm drinking my smoothie. Yeah, my morning smoothie. I have to drink these in the morning to kind of counter my appetite because I'm tired of being a big back, if you know what I mean. So just hold on to your horses. I'll be right back. Oh yeah, see what happens when you check in the Googler to get your facts straight. I forgot. I want to talk about a little bit about Mr. Apollo as well. Let's first open this thing up by talking about Simone. Now, everywhere you look, all over social media, they are dragging Simone because of what she did 4 years ago in Japan. She pulled out. And all of a sudden, they say she was able to get herself together to do the individuals. Well, my understanding is the twisties is a very, very dangerous issue when you are going through gymnastics, especially the stunts that she does. And I don't mean like stunts. I mean her technique, her level of difficulty. I'm trying to say it right. The Yoshinko double twisting vault that she does. That means she not only most vaults they twist to the side, but she tucks her legs. Trying to give you an experience, child, if you don't watch gymnastics. She tucks her legs and then she flips twice in the air. And that's already a dangerous move. They have renamed it the bows, by the way. Maybe I should have just called it the bows. So I wouldn't have had to study on how to say Yoshinko. So anyway, shout out to Miss Wanda, me not being able to talk. That Miss Wanda, she's a... I have to say Miss Wanda, she trying to say spectator, child. That woman was saying spectation. Y'all want to be spectators? Spectation. You know what I'm trying to say. So, yeah. So, it's the Yoshinko double twist and pike, which means, like I said, she's up in the air, and then she tucks her both arms under her legs when she's making that vault. They had banned it at one time. I'm not sure why she's still able to do it, but it's like I said, it's a very dangerous vault. So I was disappointed when she pulled out as well, but once everything was explained and she was concentrating on her mental health as well, I understand. But the critics out there, the critics, quote unquote, are out there dragging her still because of what she did in Japan. Let's concentrate on what she's doing in Paris. Fast forward to Paris. Oh, we can't get them satisfied either, the critics. And I have my hand doing air quotes because you know who the critics are, and I'm winking my eyes. The same critics that are criticizing our vice president for being a Hulk 2 girl. Yes, critics. So she didn't show up to the opening ceremonies, and now it's all over the news. But Pace is reporting that our good sis was just trying to rest. She has been practicing since she announced that she was going to be in the Olympics. So yes, as a team lead and doing her individual all around competition, then yes, she does need to rest. Back up off my girl. Now remember, everything I'm saying is alleged for entertainment purposes only, but I did get this information from page 6. So if you find flaws in what I'm saying, blame them. Just kidding, y'all. Just jokes. Now, moving right along. So, Fox News is in hot water again. And let me just say this real quick. I used to be a Fox News watcher. And that's because their news, when I was in my apartment alone in Jackson, the TV has always been my comfort. So I wasn't ever worried about having a roommate once I learned that I could play my TV all through the night. And if a burglar came, then the burglar would, think someone's home and maybe not break in. Luckily, that never happened. Living alone in Jackson, but Jackson wasn't anything like it is now, okay? But I used to lock every lock and turn on the news, right? And so when I would get up in the morning, what would be on? Fox and Friends. So I've been knowing Killing Me for a long time. But back then, I did not realize that they were swaying to the right at all. I was just like, I'm watching it, and I'm looking at it like it's a panel news show. But sometimes I would hear them criticize the View, and I'm like, because they would always be on Elizabeth Hasselbeck's side. So I'm like, what is really going on? Then, fast forward to the election of, I want to say the 2000 election. Yeah, I'm trying to think of this in my head. Anyway, the election between Gore and Bush. Baby, I was already invested and watching it every day by the time I realized that they swayed way right. But it was this black man, I can't think of his last name on there, named Juan. And then it was a show that, and I can't think of his name either, but I see his name, Sean. I think the name of the show was Hannity and Combs. I used to love that show because Combs was swinging to the left. So, but all of a sudden, they got rid of Combs. I was like, what the hell? And then the black guy named Juan would appear on there all the time, but he swung Miller. And then the guy who looks like a Muppet character, the black guy, he looks like a Muppet character who's still a Republican, I believe, but very disappointed in the direction they're going. He moved to MSNBC. But I said all that to say, I learned that Killing Me was problematic. Oh, my goodness. And then they always came on saying that they were fair and balanced when they were not. And then at the same time, while all of this is going on, the female hosts on Fox and Friends just rotating in and out. Why? What did I find out? Every last one of them had been allegedly, well, they have proven in court in one, that were SA'd. So Killing Me over there, naming all the things that's wrong with Kamala Harris. And he brings up how she hadn't spoken in anything, but goes over to speak for the Zetas at their boule. Yeah, and she's a D9 sister. So what's wrong with speaking to the D9 group? He had the audacity when he said that she was speaking to everybody. She didn't speak to this person, she didn't speak to that person, but then she goes over there and speaks to the colored sorority. Now, if you didn't hear that motherfucker say colored, then I implore you to rewind it back as I did and listen to it in slow motion. Slow motion for me. Slow motion for me. Rewind it back in slow motion for me. Now, the problem with saying colored is that everybody is colored. So that's why we kind of, as black people, now we having a problem with them calling us African American. Child, stop. Just stop. Call yourself what you want to be called. Call yourself a damn individual if you have to. But going through all of these names and don't call me this, don't call me that. I don't mind being called African American because I don't mind them recognizing my African heritage. It doesn't bother me one bit. Call me black. That don't bother me either. Call me a Negro. That don't bother me either. Because I am all of those things. And then when you hear Los Negros in Spanish, hell, that just means black in general. So, and then we have a problem with them saying Los Negros. Come on now. We can't be that sensitive. However, I do have a problem with the color. Oh, that. Ooh, color in the end with the hard ER, sometimes with the GA. That gets in my crawl space because I know you mean you have undertones of racism when you say that. When you say color, you take it back to the segregation era for me. And me being born in 1974, we had just got our freedom 10 years before that. So, yeah. My mom was telling me, she was like, yeah, you're going to be able to go to school in the integrated system. I didn't make it because, I was born in 1965 and graduated in 1965, and she explained to me how they didn't get new books, how they were getting old books. And if you haven't experienced segregation or haven't been told the details about it, then you will not understand why they wanted to be integrated. Now, in my opinion, if we had stayed segregated during that time, we did own our own businesses. We owned, had our own dental offices, dental practices. That street that they talk about all the time on Bell Collective was thriving. Fair Street, Lynn Street, all those streets were vibrant before integration. But the problem came in is that when we did have to patronize white businesses, we would have to go in the back door, humiliate. While we're cooking the food, us watching our people having to sit in the back of the restaurant. Having to sit, not by choice, having to do so, or being arrested. So that word color, it takes you back, in my opinion, takes you back to that time. And it was very disrespectful. And it was very disrespectful to them to be calling her Hope 2 girl, because in all actuality, whatever happened with her, there was some hard work there going on. And even though Candace Owens swings way right, excuse me, at least have some kind of respect for her for being a woman and a multiracial woman, But no, it seems like it's almost like a twinge of jealousy there. Not, why not me? I'm smarter than she is. I didn't do anything. How can I be president? No, dear. No. I don't know one black person to vote for you, sweetie. And here's why. The thing about it is, For some reason, you're able to twist things to make them not be about race when you, and I'll never forgive you for this, had a discrimination lawsuit against the school. What were you doing? If racism doesn't exist anymore and we live in a Shangri-La, you and your white husband, then why on earth are you able to sit in front of us and tell us that it don't? If it didn't, then why did you just go to have a discrimination lawsuit? Your discrimination lawsuit wasn't because you were a woman, it was because you were a black woman, sweetie. You and your forehead. You and your forehead and your big old eye. Ooh, girl, bye. You're jealous, in my opinion. Now moving right along. And let's talk about this last story. And it's very, very sad. Because you all might not know how talented Rasheed Gray is. But he is that's not my last story. I forgot I got to talk about Apollo. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about Rasheed because that was supposed to be my last story. But if you understand how talented he is, that rapping that he was doing on that show, those were his raps. Most of them. He wrote them with other people, but yes, most of them were his rap. Did you see him playing Michael Bivins in the New Edition movie? But he got wrapped up into this allegedly, in my opinion. He got wrapped up into this Hollywood bootleg type situation. And this is what I'm getting from Mims. Now, if you want more details, go watch Mims. I shouldn't have to tell you to go watch Mims because he has over 100,000 followers. So, hey, what am I saying? But what I've learned, like I said, through YouTube, is that sometimes just because you follow me, that don't mean you already follow him. Mm-hmm. And I have to cite my sources. But anyway, he very talented young man, but he is in this, when I say Hollywood bootleg, I mean the whole thing of him getting wrapped up in this Will Smith, Sean Diddy Combs triangle, if you will. These people promoted him and helped him with his career. And as we found out through lots of research as of late, and some things suspected before, is that a lot of times, and me being a psychology major, let me throw that in, when these young men are involved with Diddy, there is some alleged essay going on. And we don't know for this to be a fact, so I'm not saying it's a fact, but his actions are reminding me of a young man that I had who was when I was a social worker, so severely essayed by men that they tore him up, his backside, if you know what I mean. And it was a regular thing from an uncle. And even though he was able to function for a while, he became quiet, he became withdrawn, and he sort of started doing the things that Bashir is doing, even though he was younger. Once we did the investigations and things like that, we found out that he was, during these times of withdrawal, he was abusive and kind of, that was a buzzword. But anyway, I'm not monetized anyway. But anyway, yeah, he was doing things like that. And he so much reminds me of Bashir. Bashir's action reminds me of someone who was severely essayed. So I have the case studies to prove it. The things that he's doing, the whole medicating himself with the drugs, allegedly. because we don't know for sure if he's on that, but the way his lips are chapped and cracked and on the ground, it very much looks to me like a prop, a Doug prop, okay? Him trespassing, all of a sudden losing his fame, money, all those types of things, because he couldn't handle the fame, in my opinion. And the young man who was so severely molested when I was a social worker, he was so angry, you know what I'm saying? And it was no way for him to hide his anger at some points. I mean, he would have to be restrained because he was in a mental institution. So he would have to be restrained a lot, and they would have to call me, and because I was his social worker, they would have to ask me if I would approve for him to be in restraints. And it had to be a situation where he would have to be, really just acting out. When I was around him, though, I mean, I could do anything with him, by ourselves. I mean, I was not fearful of him because I knew his situation, and he was always respectful of me. But it just sometimes soon as I would leave, or maybe he looked at me like a mother figure, because that's what social workers are sometimes. And maybe when I would leave, he would always act out. And when I see Bashir, I see him. I just see my child who was, so severely abused in that way. It may not be that. It may just be the pitfalls of fame, his show getting canceled, him getting into debt, with this whole Hollywood thing. But every time these young men have dealings with Diddy, he's never around. Or sometimes even with him. Never around to pull them out of their situation. With the amount of money he's made off the backs of black folks, somebody need to go around there and help shit. Where is his mama? Every time he gets into trouble and I see him on TV, it's heartbreaking. And I'm like, where is his mom? Because his mom was so much involved in his career. It might be a situation like with my child. Yeah, I called him my child. Is that he was so violent. Moving right along, and this should not be my coup de grace story. Rasheed should have been my coup de grace story, but we'll just get into Apollo. Apollo should have been a lead-in story. You start, and to my subscribers who remind me that to get to the point, I say to you all, I appreciate you all, and I appreciate your critiques. However, I really, really majored in mass communications. So I know how to do a lead-in story, and I call them my coup de grace. The coup de grace means, the explosion, okay? The story that's supposed to round everything out. You have your lead-in, then you have your mid-story, and then you have your, what I call, your coup de grace, your spectacular, okay? But anyway, it's neither here nor there. Some people may consider Apollo that interesting, but I don't. Okay, so Apollo has been arrested again. Child. Poor president and prince. Well, she calls her children the prince and the president. I think their names are Aiden and Dylan. And I think that Apollo only has kids with Phaedra, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that because I ain't want to gossip. So you didn't hear that from me. Remember, everything is for entertainment purposes only. Even though I pull facts from, various news sources. So, I was strolling along the other day, minding my own business, and I found out Apollo was arrested. Child. For DV. Yeah, I think that he has the propensity to be, he is indeed a ex-criminal. He served his time. And I think he does have that DV attitude. This man is high yellow. Yes, I said high yellow. And handsome. A lot of people don't talk about it, but I do remember Phaedra saying that he was biracial. But he's one of those that just like Kamala, identifies as black. Oh, shame on them for not saying that they're multiracial. Shame on them. Because they're saying it about her because they're saying she's trying to get the black vote. Excuse the sirens. That's a Mississippi thing. All over Mississippi, 12 o'clock, they run the sirens. It's a test. It's only a test. Boy, I tell you, that's just like sometimes in Mississippi on Thursdays, stores and stuff still closed. You know, I always have to throw in a little history. Again, shout out to my people who tell me to get to the point. Don't y'all want to know a little history? Things that you don't know about yourself. So, yeah, sometimes things still shut down at 12 o'clock here on Thursdays because that's when they used to put us at the town square for sale. Yeah, we still carry some of those traditions. And it reminds you of that. So, when we would go uptown, especially in the 70s and 80s, when we go uptown, I go uptown with my grandmother. And she would explain to me, she was like, yeah, sometimes they still close down stores at 12 o'clock around here. And I was like, why? And she was like, well, you know, that was the time when they were auctioning off slaves. Oh, my word. Baby, come from a family like mine where they were real and raw. And that's why I tried to give it to you real and raw like I do. Okay? So my understanding of Apollo is biracial. So he's handsome, light-skinned, and arrogant. And a Scorpio. Baby, I'm a Scorpio, so every time they put out bad things about the zodiac signs, we either number one or number two. Angry, vengeful, all the things that I see in Apollo, okay? So, that's neither here nor there. So, he was arrested, and he was trying to take Shireen's phone, allegedly. And he was accusing her of cheating. Now, Apollo. Don't y'all remember when Phaedra said, get away from me with this Apollo? That's why you hear us sometimes say, get away from me with this. Because I do my children that like that. I get away from me with this children. Or I say, get away from me with this Felicia. Because I'm like, bye Felicia, you know. But anyway, he arrested. And on DV charges. But he says he never laid a hand on Shireen. But he might not done it in this instance. But I do believe he has the propensity to be a person that will commit DV. And I do believe that he wanted to go upside Phaedra's head. So, Phaedra, you might want to stop using that man as your crutch down to the married to medicine and get married to medicine. Better take some advice from Quad. You know what I mean? But I do feel bad for Shireen. Shireen loved that man through his prison stint. She was gonna say yes to the dress. I saw the episode. And I was like, whoo, what a wackadoo. I was saying, what a wackadoo. She bringing this prisoner around her baby. Yeah, Shireen has a daughter. And then she went off and married Apollo Knight. Child back. But that's what we have to go through as women in America, you know. If you're not married, you got children, you worthless, you need to get married, you need to have a family. That shit. And I'm very choosy about who I bring around my girls. I'm call me a helicopter mama if you want to. I don't give a fuck. I'd rather be by myself until they turn 18 and out these here doors before I let somebody come around here. 1, get in on this ice cream. 2, try to run me. And 3, done been in prison. I ain't that desperate or hard up for no man. Ever. Ever. And Serena's a beautiful woman. Hell, I don't care how good Apollo looks. She can find somebody else. Keep it pushing. Put his ass out your house, girl. Let him be for the streets like he want to be, because he did bring a woman up in your house and they were canoodling. Now he can't take that you cheating back. That's how they do. And with that, I'm going to close. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell button so you can be notified when I upload a video. Remember, everything is alleged and in my opinion. And don't forget to share the video. Because why? Sharing is caring. And as I do when I close, I'm going to talk about deuces.